kidding me? This is Sideways Talk with Riff Johnson. Go get him, Mr. Riff.
I'm falling sideways under your gaze.
Welcome back to Sideways Talk. I'm your host, Riff Johnson, coming to you live from, wait a minute, let me show this flex. Poolside, Glendale, Arizona. It's a beautiful day. And we have a fabulous, beautiful guest, Amy Beth Hale, here all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. Bless your heart. Do you know that bless your heart, I don't think is actually a kind thing?
You know, it depends on how you say it, because sometimes we mean it as a good thing, as a sympathetic thing, but sometimes, no.
It's kind of like, okay. It's funny though. No, you're totally right.
Southern nuances.
Oh, there's so many. It's so funny. I always think of Dolly Parton. Because when I hear folks, especially around like Pigeon Forge, I think she's a royalty over in Sevierville and Pigeon Forge, because she has Dollywood, and she's like the queen of the South. She's amazing.
Oh yeah, she's Tennessee royalty.
Tennessee, yeah, it doesn't even matter.
Not just Sevierville.
I'm sure she could walk into anywhere in Nashville too, and people probably know who she is.
Oh yeah, definitely.
She's so great. I had some technical difficulties when I first did this interview, so I'm gonna play the old intro just because I thought it was so much fun, and it was so much work to put on my ensemble that let's just run this real quick and we'll wait. Okay, we're done. The dogs just started barking. I was gonna get on there. Who cares? But anyway, so Amy Beth Hale is with me today. She's my fabulous guest, Nashville, Tennessee. I'm going to give you a second to talk about what you do. That's probably the best thing, is just give a little bit of a explanation of who you are, what you do, and then we can talk about how we even came about to even meet and have a fabulous school lunch together, or whatever it was. that place.
School lunch.
That's what I thought of. So go right ahead.
Right. So who I am, let's see. I'm still trying to figure that out, quite honestly. But I am. I've been in the music industry since 1995. However long that is, I don't know. You can do the math. And I was 12 when I got in. Not really, but anyway, I worked at a performing rights organization for 20 years, and I worked in the creative department, and I signed songwriters and bands and music publishers for representation, and I mainly worked in Americana and bluegrass and country, but also rock and blues and pop. And, like some TV, film writers too. So, a little bit of everything. And so that was fun. I stayed there for 20 years, and then I moved over to the Bluegrass Music Association. So I've been there for 7 years. And so, now it's strictly bluegrass.
Yeah.
24/7. And, but we, We've been around since 1985, and that's right, because next year's our 40th year anniversary, and so that's what I deal with now is bluegrass musicians.
Oh, good. Are they worse than other? Are they better or easier to work with, or harder to work with other musicians? Or
I don't think they're harder to work with. I am, my little bluegrass community is very comfortable and very cozy. And bluegrass musicians are some of the most talented musicians around, in my opinion. I mean, and and they can play anything,
Hmm.
any genre of music that you throw at them. I feel like they can just pick up on it and start playing, and um, so yeah,
I
they're
agree.
good.
Yeah, yeah, they're all right. Um, some of the ones, it's funny. We had talked a little while ago about the Kruger brothers,
Oh
and I
yeah,
had it backwards. My friend Hal, who's a great banjo player, he's a magician. I've actually had him on the show, and he's been all over the world doing magic in music. And he just got back from a Kruger brothers, like not a convention, but like a seminar or something, which
oh,
is really cool. He just posted about
like
it.
a
Yeah,
workshop or
yeah,
something.
exactly that. Let me see
Yeah,
exactly what it was because
cool.
Hal's great. I bet that he was just so excited about. I didn't even know he was going, but it's funny we just recently talked about that. I'm walking on cloud nine right now. I just returned from the Kruger Brothers Academy. Had an incredible time. So yeah, it looks like he met a bunch of really cool people. Man, it's a lot of bluegrass players in one room.
Yeah, that's has to be an awesome
It
experience.
must be. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty cool. So, and I think me and my little rock and roll bubble, or whatever it is that I'm writing, contemporary. I want to be Billy Joel someday, but I want to be me. But Madison Square Garden would be fun to play a show rather than just sit there. But who knows? It doesn't really matter. But I
Yeah.
feel like the bluegrass community is way bigger, or maybe bigger now, than it used to be. My grandmother used to listen to probably traditional, you know, but now
Well,
I feel like it's.
you know, I think that Billy Strings,
Oh yeah,
I don't know if you know him
I
or not,
do.
but he's really bringing bluegrass to the masses, as
Yeah,
they say. As is Molly Tuttle, she's doing, a lot for the music as well, and really both of them are just
yeah,
um, really, really showing bluegrass to a wider audience. And
yeah.
um, I mean, I think I told you before about. I mean, Billy Strings was on one of the late night shows like Jimmy Kimmel or
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think it was that one. And I mean, the band is there in their rhinestone suits,
Cool.
and I mean, they don't wear those all the time, but they do sometimes. And
Yep.
they were playing like in your face, straight up hardcore traditional bluegrass right in front of a national audience.
That's
But if
cool.
you go to a Billy Strings show, he's not just playing traditional, he's playing very progressive bluegrass too. So it's a
Yep.
nice mixture. And I mean, he gets fans from both sides of the bluegrass aisle because it's kind of funny. There's a little battle that goes on with the traditionalists and the
Yep.
progressive bluegrass fans, and so sometimes people fall into one side or the other
Yeah.
of the thing, and
That's
it's
funny.
just kind of. But Billy manages to play everything.
Yeah, that's great. I know Hal, my friend Hal there, he hosts a bluegrass jam in Dunedin, Florida every week. And there's like 20, 30 people playing. It's crazy. I don't know how I mean, it's
Yeah,
kind of organized, but it's just so funny. He just calls people, okay, you do a solo, you do a solo. Everybody steps up to the mic, and it's so cool. And
yeah,
he's like, okay, so this is how it works. The first hour is traditional bluegrass. He's like, and then it's kind of like you're moving up. It's like an Americana. It gets to the third hour. It's like an Americana kind of. Maybe we'll play some.
right.
That's kind of
Yeah,
because I think that kind of satisfies all those people that are like, well,
yeah,
and
yeah. That's
also
cool.
it's very, very. It was actually a really cool thing to see. Billy Strings. He was at Innings Fest here in Arizona a couple years ago when I was here. And it was a Foo Fighters headliner.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, one of the last shows that Foo Fighters did before Taylor Hawkins died. Unreal.
right. Yeah,
But yeah, watching Billy Strings' social media over the last, I don't know, even like 4 or 5 years, seeing like the stages and stuff he's playing, and now it's like the biggest, just the light show and I think the how massive everything is. What a man, what a cool experience. I wonder if it's even like surreal to him. He seems to be pretty level headed.
he's a nice guy. He
Hmm.
seems very level-headed, yes. And I think that he's also a big thinker.
Hmm.
It's like he's not going to keep himself into a little box and just say I'm bluegrass. He's willing to think outside the box.
Yeah.
Um, not that I'm not criticizing anybody that wants to stay bluegrass
Right.
because you do you. I
Yeah.
mean and Billy is just young enough that he's like been exposed to so many different types of
Yeah.
music growing up that he wants to play everything
Yep.
and keep it with that bluegrass um I don't know, sentiment maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really the word I want to
Yeah.
use, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything kind of evolves, and I think that's what makes him unique. And I mean, he's got rock and roll fans that are just like, wow, this guy's great. It's an interesting pull from a lot of these artists that can grab people from country music, rock music, pop music, and just kind of bring them all. It doesn't necessarily have to fit into one thing. Um, and having a killer band, I'm sure helps. Um,
Oh yeah,
I,
yeah,
I think of that often. I'd love to be in a band again, but at this point in my life, it's just like it's hard to afford it. So far we're doing all right, jumping around the country, playing bars and restaurants.
yeah,
So hoping to build that up. We'll keep going. And I think now with social media, and that's the thing too. Like with his group, his social media presence is great, and it attracts a lot of people. And his stuff looks great. His posts look great. And he seems like a lot of fun.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
He's a good guy.
Yeah. The rhinestone outfits you're talking about. That reminds me of going when you go down through Nashville and everything there. All the different museums like Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson. I remember seeing like a lot of those outfits like Porter Wagner and all these old
Yeah,
outfits they'd wear with all the rhinestones. I mean Elvis had a lot of those.
ZZ Top wore him too.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a cool.
yeah.
I've never seen them, and they seem like they're playing everywhere all the time.
You've never seen
I've never
ZZ
been to
Top?
ZZ Top somehow. I've never been.
Uh, Unfortunately, you can't see the original
No,
lineup
you can't.
anymore, but
Yeah,
um, but they're still great. And
yeah,
if you see Billy Gibbons solo, I
yeah,
mean, he's fantastic.
yeah.
Billy Gibbons is my spirit animal.
Oh, that's awesome. I knew a guy in Nashville there. Kyle Rife played guitar with the band that toured with them for a while. And it's just wild, like seeing him like post some Instagram pictures, like playing Billy Gibbons guitar, like showing him something on guitar. He's just
Hmm.
like, this is like
Yeah.
surreal life. But he makes it seem like he's probably a pretty cool guy too. Um,
There's a guy, Tim Montana, who
okay.
um, I think he lives in both Nashville and then somewhere out west too. Um, but he had a picture of he and Billy Gibbons are friends
Mhm.
and play together a lot. And he had this picture of Billy out in his front yard, in Tim's front yard, playing with his dog.
Oh,
And he's like, we're freaking out the neighbors today
oh
because here's
yeah.
Billy Gibbons in his whole little
Yep.
outfit,
Yep.
playing with a dog in the front
That's
yard.
awesome.
Not really something you expect to
Yep.
see.
Yeah, that's cool. They're just people too.
Yeah,
It's so funny. That's awesome. I know, legendary. It is funny. It's funny watching some of these legendary bands that are getting older. And, Aerosmith, a lot of them. I think maybe Mick Jagger might outlive us all.
yeah, or Keith Richards.
For him too. Yeah, maybe more so. But yeah.
It's funny, and Billy says in interviews, I mean, if
Mhm.
you go see ZZ Top, even without Dusty,
Yep.
they play the songs pretty much as you know them from
Yep.
the album because Billy has said that's what people pay to hear with
Yep.
ZZ Top.
Yep.
And they don't want to hear you doing some experimental version of Sharp Dressed Man. They want to hear
Yeah.
it like they heard it on the radio.
Yeah.
But if you go see him solo,
Yeah.
he's doing a whole lot of really interesting stuff because he can do that. It's not ZZ Top, it's him.
Oh.
And so he's a little more experimental and
Yeah.
bluesy and, so yeah, it's cool. It's an interesting way to think about that.
Yeah, definitely. That is really cool. I was just thinking that we just went 2 nights ago. We just saw Bruce Springsteen here in Arizona,
Oh yeah.
and that was a guy. We had watched his Broadway performance before going to the show because I'd seen it once before a couple years ago, and we just rewatched it to kind of get pumped up for Bruce. He didn't do a whole lot of talking. I mean, they just pretty much played a lot of their songs, and it's kind of funny. Every single song ran into 1, 2, 3, 4. The next he kept, I think, 8 in a row. He counted each one in. But what a big band! I think he had 18 people plus him on that stage.
Oh
I was
my
just
gosh.
like, oh my, the E Street Band. What was the point of that? Oh, his performance in the Broadway show he did was so interesting. He talked about Born in the USA, what the message really was. And he sang it like an old blues song. That's a cool thing. If you have Netflix, that was an interesting thing to watch. And he just did it all, he's just up there with his guitar pretty much the whole time and a piano. And he just told some stories and man, he's lived some life. It's and he's another one, I mean, he looks great. I don't even know how old he is. But yeah, he looks fantastic live and but just somebody that another legend, I guess, that just interesting
Right.
seeing him in a different light when he's not with the band. I mean, the band sounds like the band, and they get to jam a
Right.
little bit, being the E Street Band. But it was it sounded like Boston's another one I saw once. It sounded like the album. It's just interesting, but
Right.
all right, so Amy and I met through Mr. Dave Beanie, the fabulous Dave Isaac from 100.3 WKIT, Stephen King's rock and roll radio station from Maine. Dave used to have my band come into the show, and he used to let me come in and co-host like the local rock. There'd be a certain period of time every week, homemade jam that he would do, and he would actually play local artists on the radio, on the for real radio, and it was an exciting thing. That's the first time I ever heard myself on the radio, was through Dave's
Oh, that's cool.
show. It was very cool, and but he would always let me come in, and I'd just be like in the area, and he's doing something. I'm like, hey man, you mind if I stop in? He's like, hey, come on. And so it was just fun. I think the day Prince died, he let me come in and play a couple songs, Prince songs. It was just interesting. Dave's great guy. So he's David Beanie now. But he's still Dave Isaac sometimes. He goes in part-time. He fills in for people. And Dave said, I have a friend in Nashville named Amy Beth Hale. You should check her out. We have a bit of a connection from that area, and she's fantastic. And so I said, I just stalked Amy's page. I was like, hey, how are you? Dave says I need to say hi. No, it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
But you were very kind. You were very kind. And we actually met up at Arnold's. Was that what it was?
Yeah.
And so Arnold's is...
That's a Nashville institution. I mean, apparently, I guess, in Maine, they don't have meat and three cafeteria style.
We don't. No.
But, I mean, it's
Yeah.
a thing in Nashville. Well, it used to be. I feel
Yeah.
like it's kind of going away now. But
Yeah.
Arnold's just recently closed, and
Oh.
I mean, it's been open for, something ridiculous, like 50 years or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, all the Nashville locals are just weeping,
Oh.
because it's closed. But,
Hmm.
yeah, we
Yeah.
went to Arnold's and we went to
The music shop.
Carter Vintage.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah.
Cool
Yeah.
place. There's some cool music shops. I probably hardly scratched the surface there in the Nashville area. but it's Music City, USA. It makes sense.
Yeah.
We've definitely seen the meet and three and all that stuff all over the country. Oh, now they're mowing. I hear it. That's okay. It's okay. Oh wait, let's all listen to the mowing sound.
It's actually his leaf blower. Oh, he's going away
Oh,
now.
okay, yeah, yeah. Those get
Yeah.
loud. Um, we just went to Terry Black's barbecue in Austin, Texas. That was good. It was a good time. But that's all. There's a lot of that type of stuff as you go across the country. But yeah, Maine. There's nothing like that in Maine. But that's why, to me, it reminded me of like school lunch. And probably at that point, that might have been my first trip to Nashville, and I was just like, this is a new experience. But yeah, like a lunch cafeteria style.
Yeah, I
That's
seem
cool.
to remember you saying at some point something about anyway, I gathered that you didn't like it very much, but that that's
Yeah.
fine. It's a southern thing.
Yeah,
I get it.
I was a little weirded out, but since then I've seen a lot of stuff like that, and it is interesting how a lot of those things at that place were very simple dishes, and people, just, they love it, and then probably it's because they remind them when they used to go there when they were a kid, or or whatever, you
Yeah, I don't know.
know. So so you and Dave, so you can explain maybe you and so Dave Beanie, our friend, great guy, um, musician slash radio host slash meat smoker. He smokes meats, and every time he posts something, I'm like, Dave, we got to come over and eat some of this. I'll bring you a bottle or something. I think I brought him a bottle of Gentleman's Jack back from Lynchburg, Tennessee, from the Jack Daniel's distillery.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Um, have you been there? A side note.
Yeah.
That was an
Yeah.
interesting tour, and you can only buy booze at that place. That's a dry town.
Right. It's a dry county.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really interesting. Um, but anyway, so Dave, what is you and Dave's connection? It's just so funny how the world works, and it's like meet people.
Yeah, it is. It is. Dave and I both went to the same school,
Mhm.
not at the same time.
Right.
And it was a military school in Tennessee, and Castle Heights Military Academy, and it's long closed now. But and my dad I lived on the campus. I grew up on the campus, and my dad was a teacher. He taught history and English, and then later became the headmaster. And I think Dave had him, I think, for history, maybe
Mhm.
English, but I think it was history. And he fortunately remembers him fondly. He
That's
liked
good.
him, and but I mean, that school, there's been a lot of famous people that have gone
Mhm.
there, and including the Allman Brothers.
Oh wow.
Dwayne and Greg went there, and and then a lot of like military type people, like generals
Mhm.
and things like that.
Wow.
They went there, but yeah, that's how we know each other, because of that connection. And
Yeah.
there's a Facebook group for alumni,
Oh cool.
and it's so funny because he's posted pictures, like from his yearbook,
Mhm.
and there's one picture that he posted of himself, and it's so cool. I
Mhm.
mean, if you haven't seen it, get him to show it to you, because he's like leaning back against a wall, and he's got 1 foot
Yeah.
up against the wall, and he's looking all cool and everything. And I'm like, Dave, like, that's the album cover picture right there. I
Oh,
mean,
I gotta check that out.
yeah, you should see that one.
That's so
But
funny.
I've never met him in person, and I'm either going to have to go to Maine, or he's going to have to come down here. I don't know what's going to happen,
Or
but
both.
yeah.
I think Dave would love Tennessee, and you'd love Maine. Go in the summer though. The winter is no no show. Don't go then.
Yeah, I need to go and get lobster rolls
You
and,
should,
you
yeah, eat
know,
them all. There's so many places there that are really good, and it's so different. I guess Tennessee gets shipped in. There is a place downtown. Is it on the east side? Called Boston Common, and the guy's from Massachusetts, and he has fresh fish brought in all the time in
oh,
Nashville. Yeah, it's called Boston Common. If you're
wow.
a seafood fan, it's very good, and it's very very popular. I say
Yeah.
I played a show right next to there, and I can't remember what it was called. Like right down the street. I think it was the next building over. The last time I was there, it was a
Yeah.
barbecue place, but that place, Boston Common, is really good. I mean, probably for that area, it's probably one of the um, best ones, and it's not crazy expensive. But there's that until you get to Maine and try it.
Right.
So that's probably out of Boston, which is same idea. Cold water. It's funny you get down to Florida and people eat lobsters that have all these spiny little parts of the shell, and apparently they're sweeter and they're just different. It's a different flavor, but something about the cold water. So either Maine coast or Seattle coast, whatever is a much different thing than you'll get in Florida, California. But obviously, being in Tennessee, it's going to be shipped in because
Right.
you guys don't exactly go out to the harbor and get a fresh catch every day.
Right. Yeah, and anything we get is expensive.
Right, right. How do you like being landlocked there, or do you even think about it? You've just been around it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, this is where I'm from, and
Right.
I've never lived in another state. So,
Yep.
but I will say that, I mean, I like, you know how you take these quizzes online? Are you a beach person or a
Yep.
mountain person? And
Yeah.
I'm a mountain person,
Okay.
and maybe that's just because I'm seventh generation Tennessean. I don't
Right.
know, but um, at the same time, I mean, I I do like going to the coast
Hmm.
and visiting and all of that, but I'm usually happy to get back to
Yeah. No.
back to my mountains and
Yeah.
lakes and
Yeah.
things.
On the east side, man, the Smoky Mountains. That's a beautiful place. Um,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, that's really cool. Um, yeah, that's unlike. It's one of those things that people have to see to believe. Like it's just so cool. But yeah, all of Tennessee's got some really great parts. Um, yeah, it's folks from Maine are always like, "Oh, I could never live anywhere without the ocean, right there. To be so close to the ocean." I'm like, I don't care. To me, it just never really seemed to
Right.
matter. But I do like it, and
Yeah.
I appreciate it coming. Usually, when we get to this part of the country, so I've been in Texas for a while, Arizona, like Vegas, and then to get into California, then you get to like the coast again, and it's like, oh, that's what the ocean air feels like. It's like
Right.
wow, it's
Yeah.
a bit more moisture. California is
Well,
beautiful.
a lot of Tennesseans will go places
Yeah,
and out west, especially. And I remember just standing there in Texas, I think is where it was, saying, wow, it's really flat.
it
I
is.
mean,
Oh yeah, yep.
so yeah,
It is. That is a weird thing too, because even from New England, there's not a ton of mountains, but it's much more hilly and all that stuff. But yeah, or you could just go
yeah,
down south, even Florida and Alabama. A lot of those places just they're so flat. It's interesting to see. And then you get up to like the Midwest, and that's except for the Rocky Mountains. That's the most
right.
boring drive in the world, by the way. From like
Oh, is it?
Seattle back to Maine. You're like, oh, this is why they call these flyover states because there's not much to
Yeah,
see. There's a hay bale. I'm like, oh, there's an interesting sculpture of a horse made out of metal, something weird, and there's stuff
well, I
like
mean,
that.
don't you like pass by the largest ball of
I
string
have
or
not.
something?
That is the biggest ball of yarn in Minnesota. I haven't been
Yeah.
there, and that's
Oh,
a
is it
weird.
in Minnesota?
That's a Weird Al song too.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Oh,
biggest ball of twine. The biggest ball of twine in Minnesota. I think that's how it goes. I haven't seen it. I would like to go for that very reason. I have a friend right in Minneapolis, and I've been there once, but I flew
Yeah.
there. I flew there, and and I did not see that. That would be pretty cool. But right, yeah, those are the kind of things they have across the country. And out here
Yeah.
they got something called the Thing. As you're driving from uh, Texas to Tucson, I think, or is it Tucson to Arizona? Somewhere in there, there's this novelty shop where, as you're going, there's a billboard that says, "What is it?" The next billboard is like, "It's the Thing. It's amazing." You see all these billboards as you go for like 200 miles, and it's just like, have you seen it? The Thing. And literally, you finally get to this exit, and you go check out this thing. And I'm not really sure what it is. It's just one of those things where you kind of go in. It's like a $10 cover, and it's probably really stupid. I think people say online something really weird. Um, and then then you go about 25 miles further. It's like, you missed it. It was the Thing. Turn around. Go. I
Oh.
do. If we come out again, which we probably will, I'd like to do a video on that, just to be like,
Yeah.
and then go see it, pay the money, and they probably won't let you video it because they want to keep it a mystery. But
Well, it would,
right,
ruin the mystery
yeah,
of
we
the
can
thing.
talk about it. It's just so funny. Yeah, some of the things in some of these parts where there's nothing, like
Did you go to Becky's when you were in
yes,
Texas?
yes, went to, geez, went to a few. Well, now they got one. They got the biggest one currently in Sevierville, Tennessee,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
interesting. Um, and I think they're building a bigger one here, right in Phoenix, which is really kind of expanding there. We did a video. I haven't edited it yet, of the Buc-ee's in New Braunfels. So that's the one we went to, which supposedly has the award for the cleanest bathrooms out of all the Buc-ee's.
There you
But it's
go.
wild. But there is literally 1,000 parking spots in that parking lot, and there is 120 gas pumps with two gas pumps. So it's 200 and 40 gas pumps or whatever.
That's
That's
crazy.
nuts. I have yet to see one so busy that it's like at capacity, but they get busy. That is an interesting place. One thing I do like about it is you can go in and just get brisket. I'll just take a pound of brisket, no sauce.
Right.
So you have been?
I've been to the one in Cookeville, Tennessee,
Oh, okay. What's it?
and
What's it called?
it's
Oh, Cookville.
Cookville.
Yes,
But
it's on the way back to yeah.
Cookeville
Yeah.
is how we say it.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I've been to that one, and I remember driving up to it,
Mhm.
and on the interstate, and there's billboard after billboard advertising it.
Oh, yep.
And my favorite one was "Potty like a rock star."
Oh, take a bathroom break. I haven't seen that one. That's hilarious.
But I had the brisket taco.
Oh,
It was fantastic.
Yep. Yep.
And went to the bathroom. It is clean.
There you go.
Super clean.
Yeah.
Bought a shirt.
Cool.
So
Did you
I've done the experience.
did you try the beaver nuggets?
I did.
Oh.
They're fine. That's
Yeah.
not. They're a little too sweet for
Oh
me.
yeah. They they remind me of is I tried like one, and they remind me of really sugary corn pop cereal or something.
Yeah, it is kind of like that.
Like
Yeah,
honey.
I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out what it was like. I kept thinking like Crunch and Munch, but
Kind
not
of.
really.
Almost like if you could take a Cheetos puff and dip it in.
Yeah,
Almost maple syrupy tasting. Weird.
yeah, it was a little too
Yeah.
much for me.
People
But
love them. I couldn't get over the amount of sandwiches, like the hot sandwiches, just so many. Just like I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you keep them somewhat fresh? If you're
Right.
watching them chop stuff, that's what I do. Is I wait to watch them chopping something, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take a pound of that. They just sit
Yeah.
there, and it's like fresh. But and then even the cold sandwich, I can't. My mind can't get around the capacity that they can that they put out there. It's unbelievable. So Cookville, that's almost Knoxville. That's going from Nashville towards Knoxville, or about halfway.
Well,
not quite half. But
yeah, you've still got a ways to go to get to Knoxville, but yeah,
yeah, that's usually one place that
it's
I'll
on that
stop.
way.
Yeah, because it's kind of a popular. But I didn't stop at the Buc-ee's there. I think we stopped at a Cracker Barrel there. It's right off the interstate. Um, that's a thing too. Actually, I saw Cracker Barrel here. I was surprised. They're everywhere in like the Carolinas and
Yeah,
Tennessee.
you know, they sold like maybe 3 years ago or
Oh,
something, and so the owners now are from up north,
oh,
and they've changed the menu and a
mm-hmm,
little bit, and kind of gotten away from what it was originally.
mm-hmm.
So I don't know. There's different stories um, about the quality of the food there.
Yeah.
And here's a funny thing, going back to Castle Heights, the school that Dave and I went to.
Yeah.
The one of the founders of Cracker Barrel went to school at Castle Heights. He
Oh,
graduated from
funny. Look
Heights.
at that.
Yeah. And when Danny Evans was starting Cracker Barrel,
Hmm.
he went to several people looking for investments. Um, and so he approached my dad
Oh, wow.
and said, would you invest? I think he wanted, I can't remember if it seems like it was 25,000 that he
Hmm.
was asking. And of course my dad was basically a school teacher, and that's a lot of money to a school
Oh, yeah.
teacher in the 70s, but I mean, even now. And so my dad told him, Danny, I really hope you're successful. I really like you, but I can't see how, a restaurant that is basically serving the same kind of food that you cook at home is going to
Right.
be successful.
Hmm.
And so he didn't invest. And, so we always kid my dad that,
Oh,
oh, we could
I
have
could
been
have.
millionaires,
Yeah.
but,
Well, who knows?
you know,
That's a risk. Yeah. And
it
kind of
is a
money.
risk.
So, according to Google, in 1970, 25,000 is now the equivalent of 203.4 thousand.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot. I couldn't
And
imagine.
and it might not have been 25. I may be
Yeah.
remembering that number wrong, but yeah, still, it
Could
was
have been.
something thousand
Yeah.
that he was asking.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what you do. You find investors, and
Yeah.
obviously he found enough investors. So
Yeah. Unreal. It's a lot of things like that. That, I mean, who would have known? Who, like, with that idea. And I will say, the pretty much everywhere in Nashville area, pretty much every Cracker Barrel is amazing. Once you're
yeah,
in those areas, and as you get away from them, I will say, not all mac and cheeses are created equal. It's so true.
yeah,
I'm like, this is not. This is like watery, and um, that is strange. Yeah, their menu has changed a lot, even since I discovered them a few years back. Oh wait, why is my thing digital? Hold on, hold on. Please stay. Don't die, computer. Um. Okay. Am I moving okay now?
yeah.
Yeah, the
You're
battery is.
good. You're unfrozen.
Yeah, the battery is
Thawed.
at 4%, and it's still at 4%. No, it's at 5. We're moving up. That's good.
All
Okay,
right.
so, um, sorry, folks, we had to stop for a second. My battery almost died on the computer, and I had to rearrange my entire life so I didn't lose Amy. So now my headphones are off, and we're gonna push forward. Uh, and that's how it is in the real world. Sometimes you got to adapt. That's some good probably life advice for people. Not everything goes as planned. Um, as we all come to know, the more you live life, the more real that statement is.
Right.
And there you go. You've all learned something. So if you're like 20 and you don't know what you're gonna do yet with your life, it might be okay. You got some time. You can go out and fail for a while, figure it out, and it's not the end of the world, kids. Wow. Anyway, so very good. I forgot what we were actually talking about.
I think we were
Oh,
talking
Cracker
about
Barrel.
Cracker Barrel.
Why are we talking about food? I'm so hungry now. Yeah. No, it's amazing. People say that they passed on Uber, the idea for Uber. I'm like, it's so normal now. You
Yeah.
can Uber anywhere, and it just the thought of the taxi company must have hated that. Ugh. But then they
Yeah.
have to adapt and have to change their business plan. I'm sure to, to make it more streamlined online. Um, yeah, just things like that became huge successes. And I remember someone saying, I think it was like 25,000. Like I wanted like 25,000 to invest in Uber. He was getting it from a bunch of people, and he said, and if he said yes, it'd have been billions or something stupid, something crazy. His return on investment, and
Yeah. It's
blows my mind.
crazy.
Risk and reward, I guess. So anyway, yeah, not all Cracker Barrels are created equal. That's kind of sad.
No.
I kind of want to go to this one in Arizona just to see. We'll get Paige to do it. She loves Cracker Barrel. Oh my gosh, it is so good. And they're all through Florida. The ones in Florida aren't too bad. I think because, especially anywhere near Disney, it's so competitive with restaurants. You have to be pretty good to
Oh
get people
yeah,
to
I
want
can
to go.
imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, Cracker Barrel. Wow. I don't even know how we got onto that. We were talking about Buc-ee's, I guess. And the guy that went to the school was from Cracker. Did Cracker.
Yeah.
He's like, do I want to become a general or become a, a restaurant chain owner? What an interesting life.
You know, or be a famous rock and roll band.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
That's so neat. So that's awesome. Dave, we love you to pieces. So Dave, you Tennessee, and then Amy is Maine. I'd love to see that happen.
yeah.
And it'd be cool if I was around both times, but I mean, it's okay. I don't have to be. You guys can meet.
Well, maybe we can take Dave guitar shopping at Carter
Oh,
Vintage or
he will lose his mind. What's the other one? Gruen's?
Gruen Guitars.
Gruen
Yeah.
Guitars. It's a cool place. Apparently, upstairs in the guy's office is some really special guitars. I don't know, or something like that. Not like this.
Yeah.
Not 20, 30, 40,000 guitars downstairs.
Right.
I played a double necked Gibson electric, like one that what's his name? Like Richie Sambora might have played in Bon Jovi, just a double neck 12-string and a 6-string electric white Gibson. And I was just like, this thing's worth more than my life, man. Just to say I did it. But that's a cool place. I don't think I pay much more than a few $100s for my guitars. I'm so hard on them, but there's something to be said for really nice equipment too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Gibson, if you're out there and want to sponsor a traveling musician, come on.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be amazing. I do have friends that get endorsed and whatever you call it there, sponsored. I know there's places you can apply. I've been hashtagging TC Helicon. So when I put my show, I have a pedal that does all of my vocal effect, guitar effect, looping, and vocal harmony is all in one pedal by TC Helicon and the Voice Live 3. And I actually drove over that model with my car years ago, and I'd had like 3 in my career span here, and one of them I sold because I had 2, and I was like, oh, I don't need 2 of them, because I think one was just a power supply problem. I'm like, oh, I got 2 now, so I sold one. But the one I use now is my backup, and now is my main pedal until they can produce more. There's a supply component supply shortage, West Coast, whatever, and
Right.
Sweetwater can't, or the company TC Helicon can't make that many of them. So there's a waiting list anyway. But it's a great pedal, and every time I do my vocal harmonies and stuff in a clip, I hashtag TC Helicon. So anyway, TC Helicon, if you want to talk, I'd love to have you sponsor me as I travel the country, singing my music, sounding so beautifully because of your equipment. There you go. That's so great. So bluegrass music, which I'm not super familiar with. I love Vince Gill. and
Right.
I've seen him picking on like the mandolin in some bands, and I'm just like, holy cow! I think when he kind of came on the scene in a big way, maybe in the '80s, he was quite a picker. Like I see that. Like I think when I first saw Brad Paisley as he was hitting it big, and I think Vince Gill, they were such like in their songs, and they kind of probably chilled out
Yeah.
in But I was just like, oh my god, what a great musician Vince Gill is, and now I think he's with the Allman Brothers.
The
The
Eagles.
Eagles, yeah, the Eagles, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've heard that the Eagles are rumored to be in talks with playing the Sphere out in
Oh man,
Vegas.
wow, wouldn't that be cool?
It would be cool.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think U2 is either done or almost done their residency there. My friend
Yeah, they're
Trisha,
done now.
yeah, my friend Trisha went to see him. So it was
Yeah.
awesome. We're gonna be there in end of April, I think. And I don't know if anyone's playing there, but I know they have like the daily thing where you can see the whales in the ocean in the sky. We might go to that, but I mean, even that's probably like 50, 60 bucks.
I think somehow seems like Fish might be up next.
Oh, really?
I think it's Fish, but it
Yeah.
might be somebody
I
else.
have to look it up. That's a
yeah.
hard pass for me. I'm just not a big Fish fan. I don't need to see him jamming on the one song for 20 minutes, and I'm like, that might be kind of cool though. It's all psychedelic, and you think you're
Right.
in a dream
Yeah.
or a trip. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't been up on it, but I do want to see it. I think it'd be cool to even just see the structure from the outside.
Oh yeah, I mean, it has its own dedicated Facebook page. People
Yeah.
posting all the crazy pictures, and
Yep.
it's funny. They have a face, kind of like a smiley
I've seen
face
it,
type
yeah.
situation that they put on it a lot, and people take pictures from the plane of the Sphere.
Oh yeah.
And the Sphere is like looking up at it,
Wow.
and it's so funny.
That is so. What a strange. Could you imagine being someone trying to get investors to do that deal?
Yeah.
Last time I was there, they were building it, and it was just so massive. I was like, "This is strange." And someone's saying, "Oh, it's going to be a concert venue." Really? Wow. But yeah, now it's all done. Yeah, that'll be cool to see. They keep changing Vegas, and I don't know. Are you a Vegas fan? Have you been?
I have been, but it's been years, and I went to see Penn and Teller.
Oh, very
And,
cool.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're going to see Penn and Teller, I feel like it's
Yeah.
Vegas
Yep.
is the place to see it. But I will tell you how long it's been. What is it? Paris, that little Paris area was just starting to be built at that point in time.
Well, I can tell you
So
how that
that's
was.
how long ago it has been. And I mean, I saw them at Bally's, and I know they're not
Oh.
even at Bally's
Right.
anymore.
So that was probably late 90s, because it says September 1st was when Paris first opened. Construction began in 97.
So
Yeah.
that's
So there you go.
it's been a while.
Yeah.
I'd love to go back. I think that Vegas is absolutely ridiculous, but in a good way. I mean, but it's also one of those things that I think that for me, I can just visit every once in a while.
Yeah.
I would have totally gone to see U2 at the Sphere,
Oh my gosh.
but
So awesome.
that just didn't work out for me. But
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, we thought about it, but I mean, we could have flown out, I guess. Oh, it's so expensive. Just add it to everything else.
Yeah.
That's a cool experience. I've actually never seen U2 live. I almost went to Madison Square Garden years ago. They played there 8 nights in a row. That's wild.
Right.
I love that band. I don't care what you say, folks. I love you too.
I've seen them 4 times.
Oh, man.
And the first time I slept out for tickets to see them.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and it was in November, so
Yeah.
it was super cold,
Oh,
but totally worth it. And
yeah.
yeah,
Was it Nashville?
well, it was actually in
Oh, I
Murfreesboro,
know that. Yep.
Tennessee,
Yep.
and it was a fill-in date on the Joshua Tree tour
Oh,
because they canceled. I think they were supposed to be in like Atlanta or somewhere in Georgia, and they canceled that show. And I feel like I don't really remember what the deal was, but it seems like there was something political involved, and
oh,
they canceled it. And so they're routing people. We're trying to figure out,
yeah,
well, where can we go? And Murfreesboro
yeah.
happened to have an open slot, and yeah, so
Wow,
that was a lot of
interesting.
fun.
That's
Totally
interesting.
worth it.
Yeah. I played a show there in Murfreesboro too. Probably not as elaborate as the U2 show. No, I
Yeah,
don't think
probably
anyone
not.
camped out for my tickets. We didn't have
Well,
tickets. There was not even a cover.
where did you play in Murfreesboro?
Season something?
Oh,
I think it's called Season. It's part of a hotel.
oh, okay.
Seasons of Murfreesboro, I think. Murfreesboro,
Oh, I've heard of that.
Restaurant and Lounge. It is
Yeah,
part of a. I'm trying to think what the hotel was. It was attached to a hotel, so it was a restaurant. Pretty cool place though. Big stage. Um, it was like poker night or something. Something was going on. There was quite a few people there, but a lot of them were there playing poker. I was kind of the soundtrack to them playing poker. But I think it was like a Clarion hotel or something like that.
yeah,
And it was just right off the interstate, easy to find.
right.
Yeah, it's an interesting area. I got pretty familiar. I've been to Nashville, geez, probably 6, 7 times for a period of time each time, usually. So I got to see quite a bit of it. It's interesting seeing the different places. My friends that moved from Maine, oh my gosh, like 12, 12, 11, 12, 13 years ago. And they've been there. And it's funny, they've moved around a bit because, as you know, it's getting crazy expensive everywhere to live.
Yeah.
So I think they started out in like, oh my gosh, something Bell. Oh my gosh,
Bellevue.
Bellevue. They started out in Bellevue, in this really, really nice place. And the place that they're in now is nice. But I mean, right now they're in Madison. So they jumped around a few
Oh yeah.
places. And they're in Madison right now, which part of Madison is not so glamorous, I guess. Um,
Right.
but it's nice. They're Addison Elks Lodge members right there in Madison. And she was Elks Lodge. He actually just got done. My friend Adam got done being an exalted ruler. So he's like the president guy of that club, and he just got done doing that for about a year. I think he did it. It's a lot of
Cool.
dedication. Pretty neat though. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that area. So I played there a few times at the Madison Elks. It's kind of fun. They still smoke inside. There's a few places in the area that still has smoking, and then I get done singing. I'm like,
Right.
Texas too.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so where are we at here? Oh my gosh, we've almost been gabbing for close to an hour. We had talked a little bit about country music and different things. As a lot of my friends and fans know, I'm not a big country fan. I loved 80s and 90s country all through there. And my dad used to listen to Marty Robbins and all of the old stuff. So I know I'm very familiar with all of that era of
Yeah.
country music. But I really do. I still like the 80s and 90s. And some new ones. Like I said, Brad Paisley. I've seen him two or three times. It's fantastic. And there's some that, and I think some. I don't think Chris Stapleton's really necessarily a country musician. He's incredible. But I guess
Well,
maybe.
it's funny. Chris Stapleton, really started out in a bluegrass band
Oh, okay.
called the Steel Drivers,
I did not know
and
that.
who are still around. And he left, and there's a new, well, not new lead singer because it's been a while since Chris left, but
Mhm.
yeah, he used to do bluegrass, and yeah, I mean he's definitely considered country, but
Yeah.
sort of does a little bit of everything.
Yeah, and I
Seems
guess
like.
for a long time he wrote songs and other people for other people and did that
Yeah,
kind of thing. Probably wrote
yeah.
a lot of songs that we know of, and I'm like, oh,
Have you
Stapleton wrote
ever
that.
seen, do you watch any of these reaction
Hmm.
videos on YouTube at all?
Oh, a lot of them.
And yeah, there's a channel that I love called Lost in Vegas.
Okay.
And these two guys, react to songs.
Hmm.
And they're very open-minded about music. And I mean, they listen to country music and they'll tell you that, we're not really country fans and they really are not familiar with anything country. And so, I feel like a lot of people, when they approach country or bluegrass,
Yeah.
I think what the easy thing to do is make fun of it.
Right.
And they don't do that. And
Oh.
I really appreciate that they don't do that.
Let me
And
make a note.
they give it a legitimate shot.
Yes.
And and sometimes they've stopped things and they're like, okay, I'm gonna have a tough time with this. I can tell you
Oh.
now. But they listen to it. But anyway, you should look up their reaction
Vegas.
to Tennessee Whiskey.
Okay.
Yeah, Lost in Vegas.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
Tennessee Whiskey by Chris Stapleton.
Okay.
And I mean, it's so good. And I mean, I don't know if you've heard that song by Chris.
Oh yeah, I play. That is like the one song that I play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I love their reaction to that.
Oh, cool.
In particular. And they listen to some bluegrass and they take suggestions from their audience,
Okay.
their subscribers, and they said, okay, tell us some bluegrass to listen to. And somebody actually suggested a Steel Drivers song.
Oh, cool.
And it was from when Chris was,
yeah.
still with them. And they stopped it. They started listening to it, and they stopped it and said, is this Chris Stapleton?
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, and it was from maybe, 5 years earlier,
Mhm.
or maybe 10 years earlier than Tennessee Whiskey. So that's how much
That's cool.
of an impression he made
Yeah.
on them. But yeah, that's a great channel. I love them.
That's cool. I'm gonna look that one up. I watched some of those different ones, and it's funny. It's funny when there's like kids that are doing the channel and they're listening to things from.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh wow, and it is pretty funny. It's funny to get an honest reaction. I had to make a note to stop making fun of country music. The modern. So are they listening to modern stuff too, or just whatever people are suggesting?
Yeah. Well, and the thing about those reaction channels is that there are some things that to me it's just an everyday song. I mean, it's absolutely nothing for me to listen to a Vince Gill song.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've heard that kind of stuff forever.
Mhm.
And then you get a channel like Lost in Vegas,
Yeah.
and they listen to Vince Gill doing When I Call Your Name, and I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just so funny to watch someone hear it for the first time.
That's so
and
true.
It's just an everyday thing for
Yeah. Twins.
You
I'm trying
know.
to think what the name was. Twins. Twins. These two young black dudes, and they were listening to that "In the Air Tonight," Phil Collins. And
yeah, and the whole drum.
Yeah, Twins, the new groove or something. But
I think I've seen that
yeah,
one.
they had it. They met with Barack Obama. Pretty wild. But anyway, they had that one with the drums, and they stopped the tape. They go, "Whoa, oh, I don't ever really heard anybody just come in with the drums a couple minutes into the song." But it is
Yeah.
so funny there. That is a cool thing. People love to watch people react. I noticed that on TikTok in some of these things, these reels, and sometimes it's just someone doing the song, And I don't know if it's like a viral video is why these get so much looks, and people will just be sitting over here and be like, I've started doing it. I'm a sellout. Um, but I'll do it for things that I think are really, really cool.
Yeah.
But it's just funny. They just sit there, yep, and they nod. And it's just like these people have like 20,000 people following them. I'm like, how is this possible? It's an interesting thing. But maybe, I don't know if it has something to do with it being viral. And I have found that when you post things, like if you just took someone's video and shared it, they're either going to catch you for copyright or they're not going to give you much growth. They're going to like slow down how many people will see something because it's not original content. But if you
Yeah.
change the video so much, like maybe half of your body's there doing this, they'll let it
Right.
they'll let it go. One thing I see now is a lot of things. It's just whatever the video is half the video, and then it's like some random video game playing in the bottom, just like Call of Duty or something, just going on in the bottom of the half of the screen, but the videos really hear what they're showing. But apparently that changes. I don't know how much you have to deal with social media content and all that. I mean, probably quite a bit because you're trying to attract people to come see Bluegrass. But it's annoying but necessary.
Right.
But anyway.
Yeah, I
But
watch
cool.
a lot of those. I'm mainly a YouTube person. I don't really do TikTok. I tried TikTok, and I think I'm just at that age where it's too annoying for me to figure out how to use it, and all I could ever figure out is people yelling and swearing at each other. And I'm like, okay, I can see that anytime. I know there's more out there, but I'm not interested in trying to figure out how to find it.
Same here. It's to me, it's to the point where I feel like I have to use it for what I do, which is too bad. At least the stuff I think that I put out there is stuff that I like or whatever. I don't think it's too ridiculous.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the same thing. I'll post it to Facebook, I'll post it to Instagram, I'll post it to TikTok, and it's like the same damn video. Which they say is not proper online etiquette either, but whatever. But yeah, I do not care for it. My friends watch it like it's TV. Scroll, next. And I'm like, it's just the short attention span. It's too bad. Go read a book. You're into books.
I am. Yeah.
There's a segue. There's a segue to another conversation right there.
That was seamless.
Yeah.
Right there. Absolutely seamless.
I love audiobooks. Reading books is rough for me. I've not read many physical books, but I've listened to hundreds of audiobooks, and I love them. But
I've only just recently gotten into audiobooks. It's very strange.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why I haven't done it sooner, but I find that I like nonfiction on audiobook better than fiction. But you know what really made me subscribe to Audible and get back into it was Dave Grohl's autobiography.
Oh, which one?
Well, I didn't know he had more than one.
Storytellers?
I guess it was, yeah. I think that's
fantastic. He's talking about the days of being with Nirvana and buying like 2-for-1 corn dogs and living in a van and it was actually put out. It was
great.
It was put out just before Taylor Hawkins died, not long before.
Yes.
And he's sitting there talking about being in Australia with him and just thinking, this is one of my favorite people that I'd like to travel with. I was like, oh, because he had just died when I read it, listened to it.
Yeah. Is that the one where he got arrested in Australia and
on the moped? That's the one. So that's the book. Yeah. And he
that's a great book.
It's amazing, like talking about coming to the daddy-daughter dance, flying across, doing this, and
unbelievable.
And he got to play at the was it the Grammy Awards? The Grammy Awards with his daughter,
right? Yeah,
and or maybe that was just him. His daughter was another thing. Yeah, she seems pretty amazing. Violet, I think her name is. is
Right.
a bit of a musician, and she's played at some shows with him. Comes out in front of thousands of people. They're amazing. I saw them in Innings Fest here in Arizona and Tempe, and I kind of used to joke about the Foo Fighters. For a while, it seemed like he found a pattern, and every song kind of had the same dynamics. And I'll tell you though, seeing him live, unbelievable. Just such a good front man. Just sometimes you
Oh,
get a
he
feeling
is.
about people because you don't really know them. But between Lister's book, which he self narrates, which is great, and seeing him live, just the way he was with the crowd, I was just so impressed.
Right.
Just one of the greats,
Yeah.
and yeah, such a cool. Oh man, it was so funny because Taylor Hawkins at this show was doing the whole thing where he's singing Queen, Somebody to Love, right in the middle of this show, and they're doing this thing. So Dave's on the drums and he's up front doing all this, and then he wasn't around much longer. So sad.
I
Another,
know, it is sad.
yeah, I'm glad they
Yeah.
decided to move forward because I mean they're one of the biggest rock bands in the world right now. It's crazy.
Right.
But anyway,
Yeah.
great stuff. Sonic Hideaways. That's another show.
It's incredible. Yeah,
Incredible.
I like that a
Yep.
lot. I have it on DVD, which is
Yeah, so good.
also a dying format, but
Yeah.
you know.
My friends here at this house in Arizona, Emily and Paul, are some of the biggest Foo Fighter fans I know. And he sat me down and we watched like all those episodes of Sonic Highways. And the other one,
Yeah.
with the mothers, you know what I'm talking about? The show that they did with, that wasn't Storytellers, was it? Dave Grohl show with mothers. I think this is a terrible. I could just ask him. It was I don't think it was Storytellers. Oh, come on, internet, what's going on? Gotta take off. There we go. Let's try that again. Try again. From Cradle to Stage.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, you would love that. So they have many. I'm trying to see if they show some of the guests on this. So like Brandy Carlisle and her mom, or like I think Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine and his mom.
Oh, right.
So it's kind of like, and Dave with his mom. So it's Dave the musician and like the guy from Imagine Dragons, him and his mom.
Yeah.
And then it's mom to mom, rock star to rock star. But they talked about how motivated their kid was, and Dave is just like his mom's like, he's like, Mom, I want to go for it. I want to do this music thing. She's like, all right, just make sure you work real hard at it. You know, I'm like,
Right.
wow, I wish that was my folks.
Yeah, really.
I was thrown into a religious thing as a little kid, and that was going to be my life. So this is a bit of a change of a career path from what my parents wanted.
Right.
Which is whatever. It's my life, folks. But really cool. And I think so that Tom Morello's mom, who's like really, really smart. Is she a science teacher? She's a teacher, and she had to go through a time when as a black lady, or no, a white lady with a black kid, they didn't want her teaching at that school and all this stuff. And she's a big activist for everything. You would love it. So from Cradle to Stage, I'm not sure what it's on, but I'll send you that. It's just you'll love that, just because it's just so interesting seeing the different people who are. I think Carrie Underwood had an episode with her mom, and that really struck me interesting. That she set a part in that where she was trying to get Carrie Underwood's career going as a young girl, and talking to the venues in Nashville, and just being like, listen, you can have another ball capper just sitting there playing cover songs, or you can have something really special. I'm like, yeah, that's a management material.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is funny because a lot of the bars, they got the guys sitting there with the ball cap just playing the songs. And but anyway, so very cool.
I loved seeing that video. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's been going around the YouTube U2 fandom of Dave Grohl at the stage, at the Sphere. I mean, just rocking out to U2, at one of the
I haven't.
shows. And
Oh, I love
I mean,
it.
he's just like,
Oh, so cool. That
yeah.
would be something. And I know we chatted before about the Red Rock show. Like I think it was early '80s, like
Oh, yeah.
'82 or something. I would have loved to seen that. And we
Oh,
did go to that venue just to see
totally.
the venue. It was a graduation day. It was
Yeah.
we crashed a graduation party. Literally drove in, and they were like, "Oh, are you here for the graduation?" Yes. And we just went to
Yes.
see the venue, just to see how it was set up. And I'd love to see a show there or play a show there.
Yeah.
But yeah, have you ever been there? I can't remember. If you
I
said,
have not. It's
yeah.
on my bucket list for sure.
Maybe you two would play another show there, and we should both fly there.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're losing again.
I know it. Hold on. Maybe I should put my own internet on. Yeah. I'm going to switch over. You still there? Okay, maybe. Maybe okay? Better? Or kind of working?
You're still frozen on my end.
Okay, give it a second. I just connected my Wi-Fi. I feel like the internet here just got weak.
Oh, you're moving now.
Okay, yeah, you're looking a little clearer. It's still a little digital, but it's still going.
Robot.
Yeah. Um. Oh, maybe I'll check. Let me just check the internet real quick. How fast is my internet? Did you know you can do that? You just go to Google, say how fast is my internet, and you can check.
Yeah, I know you can do that.
I mean, if you're ever in a situation where
Yeah.
you need to do that, I do it all the time. So whether you're using your own data or if you're using a Wi-Fi, it will tell you how fast you are going. Okay, I'm downloading pretty fast, I think. Oh, where'd you go? Where'd you go? There. Okay. How is it now?
You're still a little blurry, but you're thawed.
I'm thawed out. I don't know. I wonder if I should try to go back to it. Try it.
Oh, you look better now.
It is, yeah. It's just it I don't know. My battery's okay. Man, I'll have to do some editing on this one. It's all right though. I don't mind.
Yeah, it's all right.
I think we'll just go with this. Let me see. You are still recording. This has been amazing. An hour 16, and we're still together. You're just give me a check real quick just to hear, or just say something. Sorry. Okay.
Hello, world.
Hello world. That should be my intro. Hello world. That'd be funny to do that for the clip for a reel I want to put out. Okay, so I lost you mid sentence and I don't remember what you were talking about before.
Well, I don't know.
We talked about Dave Grohl and everything, and U2, and
Yeah.
I'll
Anyway,
have to cut it there somewhere.
it's funny to me that people want to hate on U2.
Yeah.
They love the Foo Fighters, and so, but what are they going to say when they've got Dave rocking out to U2?
There you go. Go do your homework, kids. You know what's funny is to think, what if, I don't know, what if there never was a U2? And maybe Dave Grohl was inspired by U2 and made him want to do what he does. He's like, maybe I'll become a restaurant owner.
Yeah, right.
Wow, no Dave Grohl.
What if U2 was his tipping point
Yeah.
that
It
made
could,
him become,
maybe.
I don't know, but I'm sure they were for somebody.
Oh,
Whether or not
yeah.
it was Dave
Yeah.
is a whole other
Yeah. And
thing. But
what a unique way to use a guitar and delay effects pedals and stuff. Just that delay thing that ding, 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 ding. It's a, on most guitar pedals you buy, there's some kind of a U2 or edge tone or setting that is literally that certain delay.
yeah, the
And
dot eight, whatever delay,
yeah,
yeah,
for like Where the Streets Have No Name, that whole long intro.
right.
Yeah, very
Well, and
iconic.
it's funny, if he messes up playing that, it repeats how
That's
many
true.
ever times,
A sour note. Rant, rant,
he has
rant.
to like,
I don't think he's ever messed up. I wouldn't know.
well,
That's funny.
poor Edge. Edge is my rock and roll boyfriend.
Oh, good.
He
I didn't
has
know
been,
this.
yeah. Billy Gibbons is my spirit animal,
Okay.
but
Yep.
Edge is my rock and roll boyfriend
Cool.
since 1983.
That's awesome.
And Brian Setzer gave him a run for his money there for a little while, but Edge is still hanging in there for me. But he gets a bad rap because he's never said he's like the best guitar player ever. And I'm not a musician, but I get what he's saying, and he's just trying to recreate the sounds that are in his head.
Yeah.
And he's using the guitar to do that, but that means he's not playing the guitar in the traditional way that, somebody like Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen or, insert your favorite guitar player here is going to do it. And I mean, Tom Morello does tons of fabulous things with effects as well.
Yep.
And he gets away with doing that. So why does everybody give poor Edge a hard time?
I mean, as far as before him, I don't know anybody that was doing it quite like that. I think he belongs right up there with someone that kind of changed. Eddie Van Halen started, and he had a thing that kind of propelled something. And I think you hear it in a lot of music now, and even modern artists that have that kind of delayed, just an interesting. It gives it a different rhythmic feeling. It's more so than just being a guitar player, I guess. It's a bit profound, I think.
I mean, I think he's definitely one of those musicians that is instantly recognizable.
Yep.
I mean, especially if he's playing something like Streets, or Pride, or
great.
some of those, incredible riffs.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's so good. That's a good one. Such high vocals in the name of love. Once in a while, I'll throw that in there, and I'll be like, "Holy cow!"
There's I don't know if you've ever seen it or not, but there's like this whole little kind of documentary that you two did about recording the Unforgettable Fire, and they're in the studio, and so Bono records the vocals for Pride, and so he finishes the song, and Edge, is all sitting there like this, watching him record the vocals. And so they say, okay, let's try it one more time. And Edge says, yeah, maybe you could try it with a little more passion this time. And I mean, Bono's just like giving it everything he's got. And the producer just dies laughing. He's like, yeah, it's a little emotionally flat.
That's hilarious.
See, this is why Edge is my boyfriend, my rock and roll boyfriend. I love his sense of humor.
Yeah. You know what's funny is on my next album, I actually would love to have somebody listening as another set of ears, really, while I'm laying down stuff. My friend Jared mixes everything after, and sometimes he'll suggest something But I would like to have a friend that's a good musician that can actually sit there while I'm doing it and do that kind of. I mean, maybe not tease me, but
Yeah.
be my Robert
Yeah.
Foster or whatever that guy's name is. But yeah, I kind of like just encourage like to get the best sound out of you. That's so funny.
Right.
It's a little emotionally
A
flat.
little more passion this
That's
time.
hilarious. No, I haven't seen that. I'll have to look for that. That's so funny. Very good. I was gonna say, yes, yes. So country music. That's so funny. It's funny that we have so much in common. And I was thinking, well, Amy's bluegrass world, but she's got a rounded appreciation for a lot of things. And and I do like some country. I will say, lyrically, there's some great even to this day. There's some great lyricists in country music, and that's I guess lyric is king in that genre. Um, I'll be a Garth Brooks fan till the day I die. I tell people that all the time. I love Garth Brooks. I know we talked about him a little bit before. What an interesting career
Yeah,
that guy's had.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And, songwriters in general, in Nashville, I mean, it's just, they're incredible. I love songwriters. I
Mhm.
don't see how, I mean, in Nashville, there's very much um, a world of you make appointments to write, you meet up in a
Mhm.
writer's room and you
Yeah.
create magic. I mean,
Yep.
and when I worked at the Performing Rights Organization, I mean, they'd come out of the room and they'd be like, "Hey, Beth, you want to hear the song we just wrote?"
Yep.
Well, sure.
Yep.
And, I'd go in, they'd play it for me, and then I'd come out looking like Alice Cooper,
Oh,
because I've
crying.
cried.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's so good,
Yeah.
you know. But they're really, I mean, they are poets in many ways.
Yeah.
And yeah, the thing is, right now, bro country is still very popular,
Yeah. I'm not into it.
and I'm not into it either. But when you talk to these songwriters, I mean, a lot of them have publishing deals where they have to deliver X number of songs. And of course, they want songs, the publishing company wants songs that get cut.
Mhm.
So that's what's getting cut right now. And
Oh.
so, sometimes you'll talk to a writer and they'll play you this magnificently written song. And they'll say, yeah, it's a shame that won't get cut. Here's this song that I just wrote about pickup trucks and a girl in her cutoff shorts, and
Mhm.
and it'll be like, great. And that's what'll get cut.
Yeah.
And that's what's, sending his kid to college. So,
Yeah. It's a tough one.
you know, I can't blame them,
Right.
but there is still a lot of quality music being written in Nashville. It's just not necessarily always getting cut.
Mainstream. Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah. And I think that's most of it that I'm just like, the whole getting in the mud and getting stuck. Which honestly, Maine, that's 90% of the people in Maine. They love all that stuff. Big country
Yeah.
music fans there.
Well,
Of that kind of, you know. Oh, he has a truck. Oh. I'm like, really? But I might not belong there all the time. I love Maine, and it'll always be my home. But I used to get a kick out of stuff like that. Um, you had mentioned before. We've gone for a while here, but you mentioned before about seeing Garth Brooks before he was a big deal.
oh
Um,
yeah.
how did that
I
develop?
I used to go, and this was, gosh, that's going to be early 90s as well.
Hmm.
A band called Riders in the Sky,
Yeah.
who have been around for a really long time. They do like Western music, and they used to have a radio show,
Hmm.
like throwback old school radio show, and it was hilarious.
Okay.
And you could go and see it recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it was a radio show, but you're watching it be recorded.
Oh,
And it was
cool.
really kind of cool because they had like, a sound effects guy with like the little, what do they call it, a Foley setup or something. I
Oh,
don't know.
yeah,
Anyway, and doing all the
yeah,
sound effects, and you could watch him. And
yeah.
he had
Oh,
coconuts,
oh, that's so
for
funny.
horses.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And but anyway, they recorded that show at Tennessee Performing Arts Center, kind of down in like
Yeah.
this basement theater. And a lot of the music industry people would go. You didn't know who you were going to see there because, I mean, just to be in the audience and watch it because it was just fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, they would have these sort of new on the scene country music singers
Mm-hmm.
to come and perform, and sometimes they would be part of the show, like and part of the script and all of that. So Susie Boggess,
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing her, and but Garth Brooks, who was not Garth
Right.
at
One
this
point,
point.
yeah.
Nobody,
Yeah,
he
like
was just,
Oprah.
he was
Yeah,
just a kid from Oklahoma with a marketing degree.
wow.
And, and he's there in his Western outfit and everything. And so, I mean, it's just him and a guitar in front of a mic singing, and I don't remember what he sang,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, and I just remember sitting there thinking he's going to be huge.
Wow.
I mean, because a lot of people criticize Garth, and I mean, maybe some of that criticism is warranted. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, but he definitely has the talent, and he certainly did then. And it's funny too. I mean, when he first hit it big,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh yeah, that's that guy I saw,
Oh, wow.
in Writers Radio Theater, and that's one of those nice little Nashville moments that
Yeah.
just happened here.
Yeah. Massive. I saw him in Nashville when he won the 7 Diamond Award. So a Diamond Award is like 100,000 copies sold or whatever your album. And I think he had a greatest hits done again. And this is maybe, oh Jesus, maybe like 6 years ago or maybe longer. After the pandemic, I don't really have a track of time. It might have been 7 years ago.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
but yeah, it was really cool. We did a free show at that little Ascend Theater or whatever it is, the outside theater down across from the whatever it is, the outside amphitheater at the end of the Broadway there. And it was just nuts. Just so many people. And the whole Ascend place was filled. I think that's the name of it. I might have it wrong. And then there was a whole bunch of lawn on the other side. They put up big screens, so there's just thousands of people. And he did I mean, it was cool because it was almost all acoustic. He had one fiddle player. Look at Kitty. He had one fiddle player,
Lucy.
and he had and he had like Reba McEntire came out, Chris Young, some of those people, Kelly Clarkson. It's pretty neat. Some big stars because they're around. I was like, hey, who's in
Yeah,
town? Who wants to come out and do a song? But that
right.
was pretty neat. Just to hear him talk. He had a special on Netflix too that was a 2-part series, and just so interesting. Like his drive, like that, his kind of motivation and mindset. He kind of throws that stuff out there, and it's just like this is the only way we're going. it's this or nothing, and it's pretty neat. I didn't know he had a marketing degree. That's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, just I like him a lot,
Yeah, I
and
think that served him well. I
yeah,
think
I
that
guess.
is part of the reason. I mean, he knew
Yeah,
what to do early on.
yeah, man, that's
Yeah.
wild. I mean, Friends in Low Places might be my kind of not my favorite of his, but that's the one that everybody wants to hear. Um,
Yeah,
but what a hit! What a hit that!
definitely.
It doesn't matter where you play that song, people go nuts, and they're always going to sing the Oasis because I got friends. It is fun.
Right.
If someone asks for it, I'll usually do it. But it is funny. I mean, what an impact he's had on the world.
Definitely.
Yeah. Just so good. Man, I guess we could talk music all day, but we probably shouldn't because we want people to sit through this whole thing, and I hope we were interesting enough for some friends and fans, and oh, so what I usually do is I'll tell somebody because a lot of the times musicians or whatever or artists that want people to come see them or check them out, but you don't necessarily want people to stalk you, but maybe the bluegrass community, which is what is your site for that?
We have, you can go to IBMA.org to our
Okay.
website.
Yep.
And we have, of course, Facebook page, Instagram page,
Okay.
YouTube channel.
Okay.
And yeah, right now you'll be seeing a lot about, World of Bluegrass,
Yeah.
which is our huge event out in Raleigh.
North Carolina.
This
Yeah.
is the last year it'll be in Raleigh, but we have a week-long business conference. There are showcases for artists, and then there's award show just like the CMA Awards
Yeah.
or the Grammys or anything like that. We have an award show. And then we have a 2-day music festival. And
Cool.
so that happens in late September.
All
And
right.
we'll be putting tickets on sale for that soon.
Yeah. So you guys are
Yeah.
busy. That's
Yeah.
that's the big thing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. That'll be a lot of fun. And you obviously go. How far is that? I mean, I know North Carolina borders Tennessee, I think.
Yeah, but Raleigh is on
It's on the other side.
almost
Yeah.
to the coast.
Yeah, I've been
Yeah.
there. Yep.
So, yeah, we fly out there. I think
Smart. Yeah.
it's something like 9 hours maybe
To drive it.
if you drive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like something I'd do. I've driven so much.
Yeah.
We
Well,
were in Texas looking at Arizona. I'm like, oh my gosh, 1,000 miles. Okay, let's go.
yeah. A lot of the bands do drive it, from Nashville or wherever they're based.
Yeah.
And yeah, you've always got problems parking 8 million tour buses.
Wild. That must be pretty cool. It must be exciting. That's awesome. I hope that goes well.
Thanks.
But that's very cool. So I appreciate you being busy and taking the time to hang, chat a little bit, and yeah, maybe I'll have to check out some of that stuff that we were talking about, especially the secret U2 recordings. That's great. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
The Edge.
Yeah.
He's cool, man. That's great. Very good, my friend. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys. What are we in now? You guys must be. Oh, you must be warming up a bit now. Temperature wise out there, it's getting more.
Yeah, I
spring.
think it's going to be about like 70 or something
Oh, it's pretty good.
today.
Yep.
So
Where's it right here? Of course, here it's.
yeah, everybody is
77.
suffering with allergies right now.
So bad there. Yep. Yeah. Before you know it, it'll be like a sauna outside, and you'll be like, "Whoo,
Right.
hot out here."
Yeah.
Very good. That's awesome. So very good. Let's keep in touch. Dave, just saying, Nashville, and then there's Maine, and it'd be awesome. I'd love to see that happen sometime. Yeah,
that'd be great.
it'd be awesome. Very good.
Yeah, I'd like to hang with him.
Yes, very awesome. All right, I'm losing signal again. I guess we'll say goodbye and cut this thing, and we will catch everybody next time. Have a great day, hun. Thank you.
Yay.
See ya.
Bye.
Where's the damn button?
I'm falling silent.